really flesh and blood, but principalities, right? And the question is, who is this? Where did it come from? Where did this principality come from? We know, Satan exists, but how did we become his target? So let's start from the heavenly realm. So we're going on a journey. When you're cruising, this is a journey we're going to go today. So just follow me. So we have this heaven. God created the angels, and Lucifer was one of them. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this. Okay, so I don't want to, except for young ones who may not know, but just follow me. It's a nice, sweet storytelling. There was a fight in heaven. He was rebellious, got too proud, too arrogant, and he wanted to, everything that God has, he wants to have it. So there was a fight in heaven with the other angels. Michael, they all have, of course, he was defeated. At that point in heaven, that's Lucifer now became Satan because his nature now changed into this evil being, and he couldn't stay in the heavenly kingdom anymore. So they kind of like kicked him out. So he came down here. He came down to the earth. Now remember, he's a spirit. It's not a living person. It's a spirit just roaming around. And then God decided, I want to create humans to look in my image. So God created humanity, the creation of Adam and Eve. But who was here before us? So he saw the creation, he saw what God wanted to do, and he's looking at, and God says, at the end of humanity, they will rise to be glorified with him. And we will go be with God and live happily ever after. I always look at heaven as a place where we'll go enjoy, eat, all the breakfast we didn't have here, we'll be having and just having fun. And who is looking? What did they say? Be careful of the child that you kicked out. It will come back to corrupt you. Thank you. And it's basically what we know. It's what happened. It's been happening since the beginning of time. So he's like, oh no, you people are not going anywhere. And his first trip was to go to where? The guy that Eden to corrupt them. So instead of humanity going up there, he goes in there to corrupt them, and he brings them down to stay here with him. So that we'll never be with God. So we're gonna stay with him. And what's his biggest problem? His biggest problem is that if we ever go up there, remember it's a very proud being. What would humanity be doing? I'm under you. You are up there. Hello? What are you going to be doing? He can only think negative. He doesn't know good. So his fear is that, you mean this human being, this person, you will go up there and start being my boss, so you'll be kicking. No. You will stay here with me. And when he came down, he came with his powers because he was the angel of light. He was very powerful. His powers were never taken from him. So he came down with his power. And here we are, we were like, okay, you can play with us and do things with us. Of course, we had the fall. And I'm going to go to the next slide now to talk a little bit about the fall. What happened in the Garden of Eden? In the beginning, when God created humanity, and he gave us commandments. You can do this, but you cannot do one. Right there, he has given us the power, the free will to choose. We all have free will. And God will not take that free will for you because he's giving it to you, for you to make choices. But for you to make choices, there has to be something else. Because free will is about choices. Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do? Otherwise, there won't be free will. We'll all be good. And there'll be no testing. So the existence of Satan is actually necessary. He gives us that edge to, should I go this way? Should I not go this way? And God lets that happen. So his existence is actually a necessity to our journey. So, and what I'm going to share today is we're not to fear Satan. That's not it. He's there for a purpose, and his purpose is to give us that ability to choose. And God wants us to choose him, to come back to him. At the beginning, when Adam and Eve sinned, they separated. Because if you initially, when God created Adam and Eve, they were good because God creates good. They were good. So it is when Satan now came in that he introduced the other side of our ability to choose, that evilness in us. So you find out we have both in us. Mm-hmm. None of us is completely good, and none of us is completely bad. Mm-hmm. We have both. So that's what he came to give us, that ability to choose something different. And of course he came in, they choose, and that's when the corruption began. And of course God asked Adam, what did you do? Eve, what did you do? That they all said, of course he gave them I call them the decrees. This will happen to you, this will happen to you, and this will happen to you. So everybody is there. So Satan is among us, God is above, yes. We are here, and the struggle begins. Mm-hmm. And the bigger struggle, as we go ahead, I will hit the women later. So you kind of have the background here, what our struggle is and how where we are. Okay, so now I'm going to go into a little video on the Garden of Eden itself. All right. I'm trying to get the volume. Wait a second. I need to get the volume of this. Hold on, I'm trying to see my volume may be a little low. Okay.
Yes, Steve.
I think I did. Okay. I have Bluetooth, but I didn't set it up. All right, let me go back. Where are we now? Let's see. How is it showing? Okay. Can you hear?
Yes.
You pause it?
Yes. Oh. Wait. Let's go back a minute. Is it moving now?
No.
I did. Hold. I want to bring it. I want to minimize this. I think I'm crazy. I'm just gonna put it on my desktop. I'm trying to minimize this. Yes, come on.
It's moving.
No,
It's
stop.
How about this?
It's stop.
Forward.
Which one are we looking at now?
Make it faster.
Okay, now it's moving.
It's okay now.
Okay. I don't even know where it's playing from now, whether it's from the desktop. Well, let me finish. We'll figure it out. Or from this. Because I also drop it in the PowerPoint. That's okay.
She's eating an apple.
From the movie, we kind of saw we're going to really focus on Eve, not the romantic aspect. Let's just focus on her and her own personal journey. I look at the point she was favored in this point A, where she was all happy. The garden was there it was there for him, was there for her too. So she was enjoying herself. But somewhere along the line, in that period of being favored, something else crept in. Mm-hmm. And it's the other being that I tell myself the way he is He just didn't come that day alone. He must have been watching her.
Yeah. Long time.
And a long time.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. He watches and kind of looking. And in my book, The Greatest Idea, which I'll share with everyone, it's really, a lot of it is based on that. And in here, he probably came into the garden now and then, and he's like shaking the tree just to get her attention. Because he's sneaky.
Yeah.
Of all animals, I see, no wonder he took the snake. Because the snake can easily go, he commanded, he can go in, very sneaky. So even before that conversation, he's been like showing off and leading her, of course, bringing her attention to that tree. Sneaky little one. And we in humanity, in human nature, it is when you tell a child don't touch it, that's when they like.
Yes.
That's when they touch it. And that's just the way we are. Is when they tell you don't do this, that's the, why not? Why am I not? Your curiosity is intuitively raised. The minute you say don't, that's when we're like, every time you go by, say, okay, what's there? So you're just waiting for the sneaky one to, and he observes, he watches you, and that's where he came in. Of course, he did what he has to do, give it to her, and that caused that separation. So now they're here, they're banished. The question is now, that's where they now exist. So what we're going to do in the next few slides is to kind of show you how the evil one brings us from this place of favor into this place where we get confused, stuck, and you don't know how to get out of it. And then, of course, we're going to go into restoration, how to move yourself out of that. Am I clear so far?
Yes.
You can take one and just pass this on as that goes ahead. Save us time. All right. Okay, basically I just explained that slide. So what I'm going to do is the separation. I'll discuss fear and the model that I have developed to use to explain how Satan actually attacks us or convinces us or tricks us. So we'll use those two, fear and the SMART model. Anybody knows about SMART model? It's a business model. Can you tell us what it is real quick?
Let me see. So it's the situation, assessing the
No.
situation.
No. What is the model? Can you say what is S for?
S is situation.
Okay, it's specific situation. Okay,
Yes.
M.
M is measurement.
Yes, measurable. A.
Geez.
Achievable. Yes.
Achievable, realistic,
And
and
timely.
Timely.
Got it.
Yeah.
So very good. I use them. It's really in business. It's how I'll go to the next slide for a minute. Then the restoration will be awareness, understanding, and action. So we'll break all that down with these next few slides. Okay, the stagnated mind, and that's how I explained earlier how you got there. Is using those criteria SMART, and the SMART model is imparting strategy for overall growth. That's what business people use SMART model to do with their employees. You know, making sure that when it's specific, they look at you, your talents, your gifts, who you are, and you tailor the person's ability with the skill so they match. And when your skills and the job matches, you're able to grow. There's less stress for you and less stress for the organization. And of course, in business, it has to be achievable. There's no point giving somebody things that they can't do. So you want to make sure as a manager, I was a manager for many years, there are many of you here who manage, even at home, you're doing the same thing. You know, with children, you're giving them function that you know they can achieve, then later you give them more, and as they grow, you keep giving them different things that they can achieve. So you don't want to set them up for failure by giving them something they can't do. Something for a 12-year-old, you don't go give a 6-year-old. Makes no sense. So, you know, then it has to be relevant. If you are giving somebody an activity, this is the goal. You have a certain goal that you want them to achieve. So whatever you're introducing to them has to has to be in line with what you're trying to achieve, and it has to be timely. Timely means whatever you introduce, don't wait forever and ever before you start telling me now, oh, you should have done this. You should have given me from the beginning, introduced it. And also within that, You have to put a recommendation, gratification for anybody who is, praises, you've done well. If I did something well today, you want to tell me you did very well. As a manager, that's what you do. Again, to encourage your staff to do the best of their ability. Is that clear enough?
Yes.
All right. And then, let's go to, what is fear? Fear is one of those things I found out in doing my latest work that has been so misused. It's like the word love. I can see this, I say, oh, I love it. I love it. Then I can see my mother and say, I love you. And I see my husband and say, I love you. So we see food, maybe it's lollipop, say, oh, I love it. It's one of those words that we just use and randomly. Another word I can choose is nice. When you don't know how to describe what is nice. What did they do? So if we don't want to offend you, we just say, oh, nice. Well, just to get away with it. So there are certain words in the English language that I think doesn't help us to nail things down, to frame things in the right way. And fear is one of those. Fear by itself, and I know we're all Christians, and we've been bombarded that fear is Satan. Everything fear is Satan, Satan, Satan. Honestly, I woke up from the Holy Spirit who reached out to me and said, fear is not from Satan. And I've been preaching that all along. Take it in. So I had to take a second step back. I said, okay, what am I looking at here? We've all been told, yes. But I was saying that in a minute. What fear really is one of those faculties that God has given us, just like love, imagination, mind, all your five senses that God has given us to navigate this world. God, when He created us, when He breathed into that being, don't forget, we're just like He formed, then He breathed into the being. He breathed a lot of things into that being to help us navigate through, whether it's the woods or animals coming at us, Satan, whatever it is, everything He has put in there to use this brain that He has given us to navigate this world. Because there's complexities in our world, but He has given us a sound mind and the ability to do it. That's why we are created in His image. And He gave us our free will to be able to navigate with all the senses that He has given us. What Satan does is, he takes everything that God has given to us and manipulates them. On his own, he has nothing. By himself, he's empty. But because he has that power that was given to him from the beginning, so he uses that power to manipulate and turn. If God said go right, he tells you to go left. And he has studied us enough because he was there when we were created. He was looking at it. He saw everything going in. So he knew exactly how to get us. So fear by itself, it helps you when there's a threat coming. It's what triggers all your five senses. You use your sight. You use everything you have, your touch, everything to know that something is coming. And your chemicals build up in your body, and rather than kick up, it's like, okay, which way should I go? Should I stay? Should I fight? Should I run? That's what fear is for. But this is what it does. Fear itself has power.
Yes.
You agree?
Yes.
It has power. And what he does is, he knows how to manipulate that power.
Yeah.
Sometimes he will increase it, sometimes he will lower it. If you saw in Eve, when he came, he goes, so, they say don't eat any of the trees. And I'm sure he didn't just say it like that too. I'm sure he put some sugar in there. All these trees, so you cannot eat any of them. You are looking, No, he didn't even say, he said any. God had told him what? 10 minutes to go? You must be kidding. We just started. The choice is you guys. You want me? That's why I just stop now because I haven't even started. So, his thing is, only all this fruit are sitting there. You can't eat it. What the shit? What kind of a God is this? That will give you all this in there. He said any, but that's not the instruction. It was only one. That's where he came with his first deceit. So to confuse her, he paints that kind of image. This is not fair now. All this to me I cannot eat. But it's only one. So he confused her. Then the next thing is you won't die. When the woman corrected, said, don't worry, you won't die. So what Satan does is he magnifies that thing. If you have thin hair and somehow somebody has told your hair is thin. So hey, everywhere you look is my hair is thin. So that's what comes in your head. Yes.
I'm just going to have them be going to the table to at least get their food.
Okay.
No problem. I will do it in a quiet
Yes.
way.
So he brings that whatever you think is you kind of desire, he magnifies it in your head. See, my hair is thinning. So every time you look, see that person said. That's all you'll be saying now.
Yeah.
You notice that? It is that one thing. That's where all of a sudden you become conscious. You pass mirror. My hair is thinning. He magnifies it. He magnifies that problem. You see, if you are a woman who is jealous, you see your husband look at another woman. Hey, you see, he's looking at. Why are you looking at that woman? The next thing you know, you'll be following her now. Is it because she has fine hair? Is it because she has? He magnifies whatever it is that you have. We all have issues. We all have problems. Whatever it is you have, he magnifies it. And then he does another thing. He will minimize something to make you careless. And that's what he did with Eve. Don't worry about it. You won't die. Eat it. You won't die. Don't worry about it. Nobody will find out. One life to live, Jerry. Eat it. Nothing will happen. You see what he does with fear? He measures the barometer. He goes up and down. Fear itself was supposed to help us. To help keep us safe. To help us to know. That's why God gave us that sound mind. Should I run? Should I stay? Should I go get what judgment? If you see a python, should I go get a kitchen knife or should I get cutlass? Right? So that's what your brain is supposed to do. To have God gave us a sound mind to make decisions. But because he comes there and bang you with this overly irrational thinking in your head, you completely, sometimes you freeze. You don't even know what to do. And that's how he manipulates fear. And that's how he makes you careless. Where you're supposed to do something, say, don't worry. After all, I've been late. You can be late to the office. It's okay. And the manager won't know. Just take your time. See, you kind of, now you understand how he works with us.
Yes.
Very trickish. Manipulative, that is the operative word. Now let's do the SMART model. I've talked about fear. Now using the SMART model, he's very specific. Like I said, he watches you. He looks at your character and your situation. He looks at your family background. He looks at everything that you have been created with, your mama and papa and all that. He knows you. Just like the Creator knows us. He takes his time and is studying you, everything you do. Then he knows that one thing. Then he will start building distorted images, like I said, of the thing that you think is your problem. He starts telling you, if you came from a poor family, nobody respects them. They are useless. They cannot rise in society. You see? So he starts magnifying this thing in your head. The next thing is you don't want to associate with poor people, with those poor people. Because he's now building all kinds of things in your head, whispering. It's an evil spirit. That's what he does. He fills you with those irrational thinking in your head. Now you see poor person, look at these people. They're so poor. Because he has built in your head that poor people, they are valueless. You can't love them. You understand? Then he introduces you to other things now, because now he has magnified this, and now in your mind, since he has projected this negative thing, you want to get away from it. So you want to do something else that does not put you there. If he's stealing money to be able to take care of yourself so you are not like them, he starts introducing those things to you. Small. If it's here that you think he's stealing, he starts, specific. You start looking at hair. That's when you start going online, start buying all kinds of hair. Over time, that thing that which has been introduced to you, if it's money, it takes power. Because everything is power. It takes power, and that's where your focus is. All your money now, every time you see wig, you must buy. Some of us do it to me, self. Every time you see, I don't know, every time I'm looking at it, they flash it on it. What style is that? So what's your problem? Because you are getting old, your hair don't fall. Don't be saying you go buy all the wig where they
The market.
There is none of us is free. None of us. But this thing brings to you awareness.
Burn.
Okay, let's go to measurable. Okay, the measurable thing is he watches you. If you steal one thing, if you are from Nigeria, those who steal one thing, I beg, get money. By the time you steal two, you steal three. You've not become expert. Yeah. So your conscience, he kills your conscience because you're no longer, you don't feel guilty for what you're doing. It's good, yeah. So you are now, it's encouraging you, feed that hunger, that thing what you are hungry for, he keeps encouraging you. And until you become perfect, now you don't even feel. Somebody steal goat. You say, Not be only one goat I steal. You have 10. I only stole one though, and the man is complaining. He start justifying the bad behavior. He say, look at that. Selfish man. And other people will say, it's true. This man has 10 goats. He can't even spare one. If people would not even be encouraging the bad habits. Okay. Relevant. Achievable. Whatever it is, again, it makes sure that once you have started that journey, it makes sure that you can achieve it, because if you have to take money from paying the rent to buy that one thing that you need, hey, it doesn't matter. You can justify it. You can achieve it. You can achieve it. It's only $20, Charlie. Let me just take that from food money. I will replace it later. So because it's achievable. See how he treats us?
Yes.
Then relevant. It makes me feel good now. Why not? One life to live. I have to be happy like that. All those people who are happy. Why shouldn't I be happy like that? You start doing it. Even when somebody starts telling you, look, this thing you keep doing, I think there's a problem. Say, what problem? I beg. Then the person call you next time, I'm not home. Because they're going to speak the truth to you. You start avoiding them. Now your new friend will be the same people who are like, yeah. And he's encouraging you. Yes. You see how he messes up with our head? And the next thing is everything is timely. Instant gratification. Because every time I buy a new wig, I'm like excited. I wonder how we look with this one. You put it on, put makeup, you'll be dancing and say, baby, Otidaleni. Hey! even when I cannot afford it. Yeah. But you see how he pulls you, he pushes you, and that's how you get to that spot. And with Eve, like I say, he was going there until the point and then Eve goes, this will be good to eat and to gain wisdom. So she too became intentional. Just like any of us. Say, okay, if I eat it. Because you already told her, don't eat it because you'll be like God. You say you'll be like God. God already created her in the image. But now he's now putting there, say, okay, I can eat it and gain more wisdom. And of course, the ground was already prepared for her to fail. He already did what he wanted to do. The man wasn't there. He was walking around doing whatever he's supposed to be doing. So Eve was home as the partner, probably waiting, cooking or whatever it is that women do. So she was more exposed. So she was open, she was there. While the man is walking up and down. And I will tell you in a minute why Eve was such a problematic person for him. Now in restoration, how do we restore ourselves? I'm trying to quickly knock this out since I have very few minutes. The thing is, when we get to that place where we're stuck, The first thing is to actually name it. Where am I? And let me tell you, one of the devil's tricks is denial. He will want you to deny everything, even when you can see, not me. Even when your friends say, no, me, that's not me. Denial, isolation. He will isolate you, and you deny it because he grabs you like this, and he doesn't want to let you go. He doesn't want to. Have you bought a new toy for your child, and you say, give me? I said, no, no. That's the way it is. Once he grabs you, he won't let go. So you have to fight back. And the Bible has given us everything we need to fight back. But first of all, you need to admit that there's something going on. If you don't admit it, then where do you start? First of all, is to admit. There is no shame in life. And shame is another way that he holds us down. Look at people who laugh at you. People will do this to you. You see, everybody will be laughing at you. You want to give this up? This new life, this place that you are here. This is what you are enjoying. This thing you are enjoying. So you want to give it up. So he starts putting those. He's constantly bombarding us at every level. Every level, he's constantly bombarding us. Unless you are brain dead. He's constantly bombarding you with something. Now you have to understand. Once you name it, then you have to understand it.
Yes.
What is this thing this place that I am, that I feel uncomfortable, that I feel I'm stagnant? What has brought it on? Like we said, like that. Look at the smart model. How did I get here? What brought me here? Understand it. I tell people, you are your own first doctor. Because only is you who has been walking that walk. Sit down. Ask yourself questions. How did I get here? Go back. And that's one thing. Sometimes people say, let's forget and things. Everything that happens in life happens for a reason. Sometimes there's a message in that whatever happened. When things happen to me, I immediately go, I say, Lord, listen, it's painful, but what is it that it has come to teach me? There's a lesson in there. If you slap me, I'll say, okay, I'll go back and see, why did this person slap me? Is it because I was sitting there? Is it because I was inattentive? So I have to know, is it coming from them, or how did that become part of it? What part of me opened that door for them to give me the ability to slap me? Okay, I have to do my own homework, then take ownership of my own part. That, okay, you didn't move fast enough, you were too slow. Okay, so now I know. So next time when I see you coming, I better jump on my feet. I say hello.
Yes,
if
right.
I see that hand coming, I have to
dodge it.
Go like that. So because I'm taking ownership.
That's
and
right.
if the person if they are the one who has the problem that they keep slapping, then I need to do something else, which I think is godly. Even though it's difficult, we try to shy away from things, not to tell people. Say, listen, you have a problem, because every time I see you, that's also you want to beat somebody. Stand far enough. If you can write them a letter, Papa. Stand far enough. Say, this is what, in a godly way.
Yes.
In a godly way. They say we can direct people in a godly way. It's not for us to look away the other way, because whatever they are doing that is not right, they're not only hurting you, they're going to hurt somebody else too. So for the sake of humanity, and we have to watch out for each other, for the sake of humanity, find a way. That's why the prophet said, you bring somebody you bring somebody else. This is what I have noticed. This is painful. This is hurting other people, because it's not just about me. We are all supposed to be brothers and sisters, watching out for each other. If your behavior is causing problem, then we need to address it, not to ignore it. Because me ignoring it is, Satan talks about passive. When we are passive and you keep doing it to somebody else, it means I'm allowing you to do it to them. It's okay. If it's not okay, it's not okay. We should speak up. Don't let things happen and just look the other way. Anyway, so let's go into what are the tools. Again, you find out, why am I where I am? What can I do to change things? There is no pretending. None of us is perfect. None of us has the answer. Seek people, talk to people. Trust God. You find out that God is always there for you, no matter how Satan, whatever trick he plays, God is always there for you. It's that you have a direct access. And let me talk about women. When you notice that in the Garden of Eden, God gave the serpent 3 things, women 3 things, man only got 1 thing. That the ground was going to be hard. He would toil. But after the flood, that was actually taken away. After the flood, the ground was no longer hard. So the 2 people, the 2 beings that continued were the woman and the serpent. So we will always, and that's why God said, I'm putting enmity between you and her. That means, Ed, you won't be friends. Yeah, sure, right? We will always be at each other. But the women, that's why we kind of bear more responsibility, because a lot fall on our shoulder. You know, you will have desire for your husband. What does that mean? Because he is actually out there alone. He only has one thing to worry about. You, the woman, you're carrying the burden of humanity. You're the one who carries the baby. You're the one who births the baby. You are the nurturer. And that's why God has given you special powers and special privileges that says, I am with you. I'm giving you this power that he will not be your friend. We won't be friends. So God already put that mark in there for you, that you're special. Sometimes we get, because of this, again, the evil one, who tries to trick us, so we will not do what God wants us to do. He comes to trick us. He will always find a way to go against God. God puts enmity between Satan and the woman. He's going to find a way to get to the woman. What does he do? Because the man, I have another slide, but I want to leave there. Because the man is out there by himself, he attacks the man there and says, look at you. You've been suffering. Is that woman? Before, it's Adam said, he says, who did it? Why you did it? It's the woman you gave me. So he was there in the garden when he said it. Right? So all he's doing is to capitalize on it. Go to Adam and say, your problem, all this suffering. The garden was easy. You were eating all you want. It is this woman who has now come to put all this wahala on you. So the man that is you married, that is out there struggling, Satan is whispering. By the time he comes home, his heart has been hardened, poisoned by Satan, by everything. He will use anything, anywhere. That's his job. You woman who is at home, the man that is out there, he comes back and starts fighting with you. He's being manipulated out there by that being who really wants to destroy humanity. And even you, who God has given that power to be able to take care of family, he's coming to wear you out. Because he also knows that come a woman, women are emotional. I don't know if you saw this.
I see.
That's the sequel to that book. And it has been an interesting journey for me in doing this work. It's really to see how Satan manipulates the woman, manipulates the situation for the man and the woman never to be together. If you see in that video, you see the man be initially, even when Eve sinned, I say the expanded version, because he had to at some point come back to say, this is the woman that God gave to me. I have to be with her. I can't let her die. And when Jesus said, in the beginning, man and woman were they were together. In the beginning, what was it? When people were asking him for divorce and say, oh, Moses said we should do this. Moses said we should do this to a woman. Jesus said, in the beginning, it wasn't so. In the beginning, the man gave himself, said, I'm going to join. I can't let her die. It was after Satan came in that the man started saying, it's her who gave me, the woman you gave me. Right there, division came. And that's why God told woman, you will have desire for him. Because no matter how things get bad, God has given us that power, the ability to recognize this evil one as a destroyer. And the first thing he wants to destroy is the family. He knows once the family is done, the head of the household is destroyed. Look around us. Once he gets the man, the head of the household, what happened? Family is done. I worked in probation. Even if you go to Nigeria, it's the same thing. What I'm working on now is taking place in Nigeria. How men are just being pulled left and right, destroyed And who is there? Underneath Satan. Because he knows once I hold the man, everything is down. And that's why Nigeria, Africa, we're still where we are. Because he's destroying the men. And that's the journey I have been blessed to do. To reveal this reality that we need to save our men. Satan is really after them. But we need to be aware of how he does it. And we need to be strong for God. So women, God is on your side. Amen. So let me quickly show the magic God. I'm going to... you can hear me.